Hello, class. So my speech is titled, What My Mom's Breast Cancer Diagnosis Taught Me About Overcoming the Fear of Vulnerability. So my tribute is dedicated to my marvelous, mighty mom named Leanne Draper. Throughout my life, my mom had always told me things like, it is okay to be vulnerable. In fact, vulnerability is a measure of someone's courage. However, this message didn't really resonate with me until I had turned 9 years old and my mother was first diagnosed with breast cancer. According to the Susan G. Komen nonprofit organization, they estimate that approximately 276,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer each year. In January of 2008, my mom was first diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was 9 years old at the time. For my immediate and extended family, this was an absolute shock to us. My mother had always lived a very healthy and avid lifestyle. Being a Colorado native, she was an avid mountain biker and an avid skier. She also was predominantly vegetarian and was very health diet conscious. So to us, it was just astounding that she had been diagnosed with such a terrible and scary disease like breast cancer. I explicitly remember that when my mom was first diagnosed, my family and I were immensely vulnerable. We had an immense amount of emotional distress and economic distress. However, it was critical for us that we rallied around my mom's diagnosis and was there for her in the most vulnerable time of her life. Well, my mom was the one with the diagnosis. It was, in fact, her that had the most courage of my entire family. Amidst her treatment, her courage shined in a multitude of different ways. My mother would always tell me things during her treatment like, in life you have to determine what you can and can't control. And for her, breast cancer was something that she couldn't control. Although my mother went through several cycles of chemotherapy, which had a significant impact on her mental and physical strength, she made sure that my brother and I were of highest importance in her life. She would make sure that I had a sack lunch for every day in elementary school while I was in elementary school, and was tutored. She tutored me every time I had issues with my homework in school. So I like to think of conquering breast cancer similarly to climbing Mount Everest. When you climb Mount Everest, you get to a resting place and you're crawling up the mountain and you realize, wow, I have several days left before I summit. Tackling breast cancer is similar to that in the sense that you have a cycle of chemotherapy and you realize, wow, I have many more days of chemotherapy treatment. In 2009, my mother's oncologist told her that she had no longer had breast cancer, but that she wouldn't technically be considered breast cancer free until she reached her 5-year anniversary. So in 2014, that was the year that marked my mother's 5-year anniversary of being breast cancer free. And according to the American Cancer Society, they estimate that the 5-year survival rate of breast cancer is about 90%. In 2019, my mother celebrated her 10th year of being breast cancer free. And upon reflection of her 10th year anniversary, when we look back at her time of having breast cancer, it is an indication to my family and I truly of her resilience and courage at the time. At the time, my mother's vulnerability indicated that breast cancer was something that, like she had always told me during her treatment, was something that she couldn't control. However, she made sure that while her future was an uncertainty, that she would cherish the moments that she knew she had with her family and friends. In my early childhood years, I never really believed my mom that it was okay to be vulnerable. However, what I do know now is that it is in fact okay to be vulnerable, and that vulnerability is a measure of someone's courage. Breast cancer is such an intimidating and scary disease, yet my mother is living proof that cancer is the ultimate, or that courage is the ultimate cancer treatment. As Elizabeth Shue, an American actress, once said, I understand now that the vulnerability I've always felt is the greatest strength a person can have. You can't experience life without feeling life. What I've learned is that being vulnerable to somebody you love is not a weakness, it's a strength.
Cheers.